If you are looking to start or scale an on-demand delivery business today,
Right.
whether that's like a local food marketplace or a grocery service or even a specialized courier fleet, you face this really interesting problem right out of the gate.
Oh, absolutely.
You start researching white label delivery platforms,
Mm-hmm.
the underlying software that's going to run your entire operation from the ground up, and you very quickly realize that they all look absolutely identical on paper.
It's a vast sea of identical marketing copy. I mean, every single vendor out there promises route optimization, seamless growth, real-time tracking, and this completely frictionless experience for everyone involved.
Yeah, and it feels incredibly similar to like buying a house based entirely on those glossy internet listing photos.
Right, the lighting is always perfect.
Exactly.
Yeah.
The lighting is perfect. The angles make the rooms look huge. And on screen, I mean, it looks completely move-in ready. But you don't actually know if the foundational plumbing is fundamentally broken until you've already bought the place, moved all your furniture in, and tried to take a shower.
And by then it's too late. You're trapped.
Right. You're trapped in a very costly, very messy situation.
Yeah, and that is the exact trap we want to help you avoid today. We've been looking really deep into the architecture of modern white label delivery platforms.
Digging through a ton of industry data and case studies.
Exactly. And our mission for this deep dive is to basically decode what separates all that slick marketing fluff from real-world, under-pressure operational power. The ultimate goal here is to encourage a different kind of critical thinking about long-term scale.
So it's not just about, finding the platform with the longest list of flashy widgets.
No, not at all. We want to uncover the software that executes the foundational structural mechanics flawlessly.
Okay, so let's unpack this. Let's start at the absolute front lines, the facade of the house, to keep that metaphor going.
I like it.
This is the entire life cycle of a single delivery, right? Starting with what the customer and the delivery driver actually experience every single day.
The daily reality of it.
Exactly. And a major concept that comes up immediately in the sources is true multi-tenant white labeling. And the data makes it very clear that this cannot just be a cosmetic logo swap.
Yeah, a simple logo swap is, frankly, the industry standard for those entry-level platforms.
Right.
You upload a PNG file of your restaurant or your courier service, maybe pick a hex code for your brand colors.
Just typing in a color code and that's it.
Yeah, and the software company calls it a day. They say you're white labeled. But true white labeling requires your brand identity to dominate every single digital touch point.
So we're talking way beyond just the main screen.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
It's the customer app they download, the web ordering portal, the automated SMS text updates, the email receipts, even the payout statements for your vendors. And crucially, the App Store and Google Play Store listings. Those need to be entirely under your business name, completely masking the software vendor who actually built the architecture.
Okay, I want to play devil's advocate for a second here.
Sure, go for it.
Because let's say I'm a scrappy new startup in, I don't know, a mid-sized city. I'm just trying to get my local courier service off the ground quickly.
You're moving fast.
Right.
Yeah.
Is a tiny watermark that says powered by vendor name at the bottom of an email receipt really that bad?
Yeah.
I mean, is demanding absolute brand purity everywhere just like an ego thing for business owners?
It's actually a fundamental business asset issue. It is definitely not an ego play.
Really?
Yeah, think about the mechanics of customer acquisition. You are the one doing all the hard work, right? You're spending the marketing dollars, you're pounding the pavement, building real relationships with local restaurants or retail shops.
Yeah, doing all the heavy lifting.
Exactly. And every time one of those hard-won customers checks a tracking link and sees powered by another company, you are actively building that vendor's brand equity instead of your own.
Oh, wow.
You are essentially paying them a monthly fee for the privilege of advertising their software to your local customer base.
Okay, that reframes it completely.
Right. And if you ever plan to scale or franchise or eventually sell your business down the line, the core valuation of your company is tied directly to your brand's standalone recognition and trust in the market.
So sharing that digital real estate dilutes your own financial value.
Exactly. You're handing off the credit.
Man. Okay, so the customer places the order through an interface that looks entirely custom built for you. No watermarks. Now, that order has to go to a driver. And we need to talk about the driver app experience because a beautiful customer interface really doesn't matter if the person delivering the goods is like actively fighting with their phone.
Right. The driver interface is where a lot of these off-the-shelf platforms just completely fracture in the real world.
They just break down.
Yeah, because a poorly coded, clunky driver app doesn't merely frustrate your fleet, it translates directly into systemic operational failures.
Like what specifically?
Like late deliveries, missing items, and terrible reviews on your storefront.
I mean, the end customer has no idea that the driver's app crashed and had to be rebooted 3 times, right?
Right? They just know their expensive dinner arrived completely ice cold.
Exactly.
And beyond just, simple order acceptance and turn-by-turn navigation, one architectural necessity really stood out in the research, and that's offline mode and low connectivity support.
Oh, this is a massive point. We operate with this ingrained assumption of ubiquitous 5G coverage everywhere we go.
Yeah, we just assume our phones will always work.
Always. But look at the reality of delivery routes. Drivers are constantly navigating into concrete parking garages or maybe new suburban housing developments where they literally haven't built the cell towers yet.
Or rural zones on the very edge of town. Yeah, they will hit dead spots. It's inevitable. And if the software architecture requires a constant, uninterrupted ping to the cloud to function,
The app just freezes.
it totally freezes.
So they are driving around this massive, maze-like subdivision at night. The food is getting cold on the passenger seat, and their screen just goes gray.
Precisely. If the app cannot function offline to at least, cache the final GPS coordinates, display the customer's gate code, and show the specific delivery instructions, your driver is literally driving blind.
That sounds incredibly stressful.
They're stressed, they are losing earning potential by the minute, and honestly, they are probably deciding right then and there to quit and just drive for a larger competitor with better technology.
Yeah, I'd quit too. Okay, so establishing a bulletproof customer facade and a really rugged, reliable driver app, those are the table stakes.
The bare minimum.
Right. But as I'm visualizing this whole operation, those two endpoints are totally useless if the system doesn't know how to efficiently connect the driver to the customer.
It's the most important part.
We have a hungry person on one end, a driver in a car on the other. How does the software actually bridge that gap effectively?
Well, this takes us into what we call the invisible brain of the operation, the dispatching and routing logic.
Okay.
This is the central nervous system that dictates your unit economics, meaning the actual granular profit margin you make on every single delivery.
And relying on manual dispatch tools? Like having a human being literally look at a screen and assign orders to drivers. That's a massive operational bottleneck,
Oh,
right?
it's impossible to scale. As you scale past a few dozen orders an hour, it becomes mathematically impossible for a human to optimize it.
I picture AI-based dispatching like an air traffic controller that literally never sleeps and can process millions of data points a second.
That's a perfect way to look at it. Let's look at the mechanics of why that is so vital. Imagine a really busy Friday night rush. A human dispatcher looks at a map, sees a driver 2 miles away from a restaurant, and assigns them the order based purely on proximity.
Which makes logical sense to the human eye. They're the closest.
Right. But an AI dispatch system is processing a multidimensional equation.
So it's looking at variables way beyond just physical distance on a map.
Exactly. It's factoring in historical and real-time traffic data, the driver's current workload, and, this is key, the specific prep time of the merchant.
Wait, it knows the prep time.
Yeah, the AI knows the driver 2 miles away is actually about to hit a major traffic bottleneck. Meanwhile, it identifies another driver who is 3 miles away, but they have a completely clear route.
Oh, wow.
Furthermore, the AI knows this specific restaurant takes exactly 17 minutes to prep a large pizza order. So it delays dispatching the driver just enough so they arrive the exact moment the pizza comes out of the oven.
That is wild. The compounding effect of that must be massive. I mean, you are reducing fuel costs because drivers aren't just idling. You're eliminating that dead time where a driver is just standing awkwardly in a restaurant lobby waiting for the food to be bagged up.
Which drivers hate.
Right. And most importantly, as your order volume explodes from, say, 100 orders a day to 1,000, you don't have to hire a whole room full of human dispatchers to manage the chaos.
Exactly. The efficiency gains literally fund your growth. And intertwined with that AI dispatch logic is the customer-facing side of the coin. Live, two-way order tracking.
The shareable tracking links with dynamic map visuals.
Yeah.
and the highly accurate ETAs.
Yes.
Because we've definitely all come to expect that little car icon moving on the map on our phones.
Yeah.
Like static text updates that just say, out for delivery, feel incredibly archaic now.
Like they're from 2010.
Yeah. But what I find fascinating here is how this tracking feature fundamentally shifts its core purpose depending on who is actually looking at it.
It's true. It undergoes a complete transformation. Internally, for your operations team, it's a purely logistical tool. You need to know where your physical assets are located on the grid.
Right. Basic logistics.
But externally, for the customer, it becomes your primary engine for building brand trust. And simultaneously, it functions as one of your biggest cost-saving mechanisms for customer support overhead.
Okay, I see the causality there. If the customer can physically watch the car icon, turn down their street on the app, they are not picking up their phone to call your support line asking, where is my order?
Exactly, and every single phone call you do not have to field requires less customer service staff, which is direct money saved.
Amazing. Okay, so the AI has perfectly calculated the prep time, it's navigated the driver through the traffic, and the customer is happily watching them approach the driveway. But now we enter a whole new area of operational risk.
The most dangerous part.
The final 50 feet. Proving that the physical handoff actually happened and securing the money.
The final 50 feet is where a massive percentage of revenue leakage occurs. You really need enterprise-grade verification tools and seamless financial plumbing to protect the business.
Here's where it gets really interesting to me. When we talk about fraud in the tech space, we almost always picture some shadowy anonymous hacker in a basement stealing credit card numbers.
Right. A cyber attack.
Yeah. But in the delivery business, fraud is often just a hungry customer lying about not getting their burger so they can score a free meal and a refund. We're talking about, like, friendly fraud.
Yeah, friendly fraud. And casual friendly fraud can absolutely bleed an on-demand business dry.
I can imagine.
This is why robust proof of delivery, or POD mechanisms, are just completely non-negotiable. The software architecture needs to support high-resolution photo capture at the drop-off, complete with unalterable GPS stamps and timestamps.
Oh, so they can't game the system.
Exactly. And for high-value goods like electronics or age-restricted items like alcohol, the system must force e-signatures, or it has to require the driver to input a one-time password sent to the customer's phone before the app even allows them to complete the job.
Oh, that's smart. It completely takes the emotion and the whole he said, she said dynamic out of customer disputes.
Yeah, it really does. Your support agent doesn't have to play detective. They just pull up the undeniable proof. The GPS stamped photo shows the bag on the exact porch with the house numbers clearly visible.
Boom. Chargeback won, refund denied, and so much time saved.
Yes.
So, okay, the delivery is verified, the fraud is prevented. Now we really have to talk about the back-end accounting. Because the system still needs to process the payment, pay the driver, pay the restaurant, and update the inventory.
Right. And the financial reconciliation and inventory integration phase is this critical juncture where a lot of software platforms try to cut corners to save on development costs.
So they cheap out on the back end.
They do.
Yeah.
And if your delivery platform operates in a silo, completely disconnected from your existing point of sale or inventory management systems, you are engineering a massive operational headache for yourself.
Let's dig into the mechanics of that, because looking through the architecture of these platforms in the deep dive, there is a huge distinction made between a true native API integration and a basic CSV export that sort of masquerades as an integration.
It's a very common trick.
So if a vendor says their system integrates with Shopify or WooCommerce, what is the actual difference between an API and a CSV in practice?
Okay, think of a CSV export, like taking a Polaroid photograph of a really busy multi-lane highway.
Okay.
By the time that photo actually develops and you can look at it, all those cars are miles down the road. The data is instantly historical.
Right. It's already out of date.
In practice, a CSV integration means someone on your team is manually downloading a spreadsheet of your inventory from Shopify and then manually uploading it into the delivery platform's dashboard maybe once a day.
Right. Whereas a native API, on the other hand, would be like looking at a live traffic camera.
Precisely. You are always acting on reality minute by minute, not the past. Let's apply that to a multi-location grocery delivery service, for example.
Okay, let's say I'm running a grocery app.
So a customer opens your delivery app at 4:00 p.m. and they order a specific, really expensive brand of organic milk. Your app allows the purchase because the morning CSV file, the one uploaded at 8:00 a.m., stated you had 10 cartons in stock.
Right, it thinks we still have 10.
Exactly. But in reality, in-store, foot traffic shoppers bought the last 10 cartons 3 hours ago.
So the app is literally selling a ghost product.
Yes. The driver arrives at the store, the item is completely gone, and now your operation just grinds to a halt. You have to contact the customer, issue a partial refund, apologize for the inconvenience, and reroute the driver.
That's a nightmare.
It is. But a native API integration creates a constant bidirectional handshake between your delivery platform and your master inventory system.
So they're constantly talking to each other.
Exactly. When an in-store shopper buys that milk at the register, the API instantly deducts it from the delivery app's available stock. You eliminate double data entry, you prevent inventory mismatches, and you fundamentally stop selling products you no longer possess.
And when you're dealing with like a pharmacy delivery or a really large grocery chain, that real-time inventory accuracy directly affects your fulfillment rates and your core customer trust. I mean, you simply cannot be wrong about having a crucial medication in stock.
You can't.
So let's map this all out. A business masters these single transactions. The branding is completely custom. The AI dispatch logic is just humming along, saving fuel.
Working perfectly.
The proof of delivery tools are stopping fraud dead in its tracks. And the native API is keeping the inventory perfectly synced. When you achieve that level of operational flow, you are inevitably going to grow.
That's the goal.
But rapid growth introduces a brand new, potentially fatal danger, which is outgrowing the platform itself and falling into the trap of replatforming.
Replatforming is the absolute nightmare scenario in software architecture.
Just sounds bad.
It means your business becomes too successful for the foundational software you bought in the first place, forcing you to completely rip out the foundation of your digital house and rebuild it from scratch all while you are still trying to live inside it and process thousands of orders a day.
Oh, man. So to avoid that, the foundational architecture needs to support multi-city and multi-zone operations literally from day one. You can't just copy and paste a single location setup if you want to expand to a neighboring city, right?
No, it doesn't work like that. You need the ability to establish zone-specific pricing, distinct delivery radiuses, and separate driver pools. You also need real-time, exportable analytics to identify really granular trends.
Like what kind of trends?
Like heat mapping peak ordering hours across different neighborhoods or isolating specific reasons for refunds across different zones.
Okay, that makes sense. And underpinning all of that scale is security and compliance, right?
Absolutely. This is the invisible architecture that no one cares about until it catastrophically breaks.
Right, until there's a breach.
Exactly. A growing business needs documented service level agreements guaranteeing uptime. You need verified compliance with PCI DSS standards for payment processing, and you have to have strict adherence to data protection frameworks like GDPR or CCPA.
So vague marketing promises about like bank-level security are just meaningless.
Completely meaningless. You must demand the actual certifications in writing during the procurement process.
Got it. Okay, to bring all this abstract technology into reality, there's a really compelling case study in the materials that illustrates how a business handles this scale financially. It involves a company called Borku, which is a rapidly expanding African cuisine delivery app.
Borku provides a perfect blueprint for scaling. They built their entire digital infrastructure on a platform called Enatega, and the strategic move they made was utilizing Enatega's multi-vendor architecture right out of the gate.
So they didn't just start small.
Right. Instead of launching a simple single restaurant app, they architected a true marketplace, onboarding multiple independent vendors under one unified digital roof.
But the financial structure of how they acquired that software is the real revelation here. Because the standard industry model is renting the software, right?
Yeah.
You pay an ongoing software as a service subscription, maybe hundreds of dollars a month.
Or worse.
Or worse. Yet you pay a per order fee that literally eats a percentage of every single delivery you complete. Forever.
Which punishes you for growing.
Exactly. But Enatega offered a totally different model. They allowed Borku to purchase the complete unencrypted code base outright.
Yeah, Borku made a one-time purchase of the administrative panel, the customer app, the writer app, and the store app. They took that code base, they hosted it on their own AWS servers, and they controlled the data entirely.
So by owning the infrastructure rather than renting it, Borku avoided paying any per-order commissions to a software vendor.
None at all.
And they saved an estimated $100,000 in their first year of operation alone.
100 grand in year one. It's incredible. And other companies like Snap Delivered have utilized a very similar ownership model to rapidly scale to over 100 stores without their software costs ballooning alongside their revenue.
So let's really crystallize what this actually means for someone evaluating the market. To me, the Borku example is exactly like renting an apartment versus buying the entire apartment building.
That's the perfect analogy.
If you rent your software, paying a high monthly SaaS fee or a per-order tax, your digital landlord takes a cut of every single success you have. The harder you work and the busier you get, the more money you have to hand over to them.
Right.
But buying a source code outright fundamentally alters your unit economics and your profit margins. You own the building. You keep the equity of your own hard work.
And understanding that financial dichotomy changes how you must evaluate these platforms entirely. It dictates that you must look far beyond a polished sales slide deck or a beautifully designed landing page.
You really have to dig in.
You do. When you are sitting across from software vendors, you have to push their systems. Demand live, unscripted demos of the software in action.
Like, show me how it actually works right now.
Exactly. Don't let them show you a static screenshot of their dispatch logic. Force them to show you how their AI recalculates routes when you simulate a massive traffic jam and 50 sudden orders. Talk to their current clients who are actively operating at the scale you eventually want to reach.
Because, literally anyone can make a delivery app function smoothly for 5 orders an hour in a highly controlled environment.
Anybody.
The real question is, what happens to the database when you hit 500 orders an hour on Super Bowl Sunday?
Exactly the stress test you need, and you have to verify the true mechanical depth of their integrations. Ask the really hard questions about their Shopify integration.
Right.
Is it a real-time native API sync? Or are they just utilizing a clunky CSV export behind the scenes and hoping you won't notice? You are choosing a foundational partner for the next decade of your business, not just slapping a quick digital Band-Aid on today's problem.
It is an incredibly eye-opening way to look at digital infrastructure.
Yeah.
We set out today to decode what really matters when choosing a white label delivery platform. And I think the biggest takeaway here is that the true value of the software is absolutely not measured by the length of its feature list.
Definitely not.
Any developer in the world can type out 50 impressive-sounding bullet points on a website. The true value is found entirely in how reliably and efficiently the platform executes the heavy lifting mechanics.
The offline driver caching, the multidimensional AI batching logic, the real-time API inventory handshakes.
Right. How it functions when the system is placed under immense real-world pressure.
And looking at the sheer power of this technology raises a really important, almost philosophical question for you to consider as you navigate the landscape of modern on-demand businesses.
I love this part.
We have just established that enterprise-grade logistics, complex AI dispatching algorithms, and real-time multi-directional tracking tools that historically required millions of dollars in venture capital and massive teams of engineers to build from scratch.
Yeah, they used to be completely out of reach.
Exactly. But now they can be purchased off the shelf for a one-time fee of perhaps $1,500 to $10,000. The technology itself is highly accessible now. It is no longer a protective moat for massive corporations.
That's a huge shift.
It is. So when every scrappy local startup in your city has access to the exact same technological firepower as a Silicon Valley giant, what becomes the new differentiator? When the digital playing field is perfectly leveled, will the future of local delivery simply come down to who provides the most human, empathetic customer service when things inevitably go wrong?
Wow. That is a fascinating thought to sit with. If the foundational technology is entirely equal and accessible to everyone, the true competitive advantage always circles back to the human element.
It always does.
Thank you for joining us as we walk through the architectural integrity of these platforms today. Hopefully you feel significantly more prepared to look past the glossy internet photos, dig into the blueprints, and thoroughly inspect the digital plumbing before you buy the house. Keep digging. Keep asking those tough mechanical questions, and we will catch you on the next deep dive.